Welcome back everyone, I'm Setharoth, and today we are diving into a new spell mod called TRIUMVIRATE, Mage Archetypes. And I know I just butchered that pronunciation, but it is a fantastic spell mod because it takes a more focused approach on your spell builds. This is the same modder that built Apocalypse and Ordinator, so if you're already using his mods, this fits right in. And yeah, let's just ignore the fact my vampirism is kicking in. This is my main character, fully modded. He is werewolf, vampire, and lich. So we're not going to be seeing some balanced combat, but I do want to show you a number of these spells that you get from TRIUMVIRATE. So we're going to be showing off 15 of my favorite spells. Keep in mind that TRIUMVIRATE, it's focused more on spell packs, right? So there's 5 different spell archetypes. Each one gets 15 spells. So for example, the Druid gets Bramble Growth, Force of Nature, and Druidcraft, along with 12 other spells. Now, one of the interesting things to keep in mind with this is these spells do not, I repeat, not, spawn in with the regular vendors across Skyrim, right? For each one of these spells, you can only buy them from 3 vendors. So for example, if I want the Druid spells, one of the places I can go is Danica Purespring in Whiterun, because she's a healer, so she gets some of the Druid spells. And I believe for other Druid spells, you got to go to a guy all the way over here in Markarth. So you do have to travel a bit between the holds to find the individual vendors that sell these spells. What I like about that, though, is these spells are basically staggered, right? It's 3 for every level of difficulty. So you got your novice, your apprentice, adept, all the way up to master. The idea is that you can build an entire playthrough around just 15 spells that are all have a kind of theme, right? So the one I want to show off first is the Druid Theme. This is going to be a combination of what is called Bramble Growth and Force of Nature. So Bramble Growth, if you didn't already guess, lots of thorns. It actually reminds me of that really old classic Sleeping Beauty when Maleficent brings down all the thorns to enrapture the prince, except apparently my thorns work better. Next is Force of Nature, and the reason I picked these two together is because when you use Force of Nature, you can still cast in your offhand, which means not only am I the embodiment of nature, but I can still use my spells. Ah ha 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 ha! Alright, so as you can see, my magicka is slowly dwindling. However, I get lifesteal on hit, as well as a magicka drain whenever I use a double-handed power attack. So it uses your light armor, or obviously if you're a mage, you're unarmored, if you already have defensive spells. It won't use your heavy armor though, because it's fitting in with the Mage archetype, which I really like. As luck would have it, I am light armored, so I am a friggin' tank. Goodbye, Mr. Horsey. Alright, let's put this guy back down. Those essentials can always be annoying during demos. Anyway, so let's see. I think you can, so use the power button, the shout button, to get back into your human form. And then you can, then we're going to show off this last spell called Druidcraft, which really is like the pièce de résistance. Because how cool is this? You literally commit a body back to nature. You can still search the remains, and it grows a freaking plant. It grows a plant. So for the alchemist in you that wants to really get into a druid, you can actually create plants at random when you inter these bodies. I don't know why it's not interring. There we go. There we go. So you can search the remains and you can still harvest your mushroom, which is just great to me. I feel like a druid that's really returning. I don't know, it depends on how dark you want to get with your druids, right? Some druids are more like all of humanity, all of civilization is an affront to nature, and then other ones are more like lovey, happy tree hunter types. But the fact that you can return corruptions back to their mortal forms and still A, loot them, and B, get more plants out of it, I think that it matches the druid archetype beautifully. I love it. A couple other points about Force of Nature. Let me hop back into that real quick. Alright, So obviously this guy is big and cumbersome. I have noticed that if you are in like a dungeon and you try to go from one level to the next, you can't hop to the next load screen while you're in this form. So you will be using him like during combat and maybe popping out of it in order to get through load doors, which is a small inconvenience. It's not something that's really bothered me. Although when you're using like your werewolf or your vampire lord, obviously you can just keep right on going through another load door and be fine. This guy can't do that. Also, he's kind of big. As you can see, he takes up a lot of space. So in narrow hallways, it can be a little cumbersome. But again, since he can't fit through load doors, it's more like something you use to get through a single fight. Not necessarily something you stay at for 10 minutes through an entire dungeon, largely because he comes with the magicka drain. I don't think I'm getting the brunt of it right now because this armor is heavily enchanted with magicka regen. But if you did not have my insane levels of magicka regen, this guy would be out of magicka within about a minute, unless he has human or living victims with which to drain with those extra attacks. So something to keep in mind, there are 12 other spells of the druidic kind that I highly recommend getting into, and I'm going to go into all of those. I will dedicate a video to each type of caster, right? So I've showed you 3 druid spells. I'm going to show you all 15 in an upcoming video. Right now we're just kind of getting into the tip of the iceberg here, but I highly recommend the druid, especially if you're getting into a druid playthrough. I would recommend, let me see, as far as my mods go, I'm trying to think if any of my mods particularly fit a druidic playthrough. Campfire, complete alchemy and cooking overhaul for a druid playthrough. I'd highly recommend that because it gives you just so many more things to work with. Let's see here. We've got iNeed. If you're doing any kind of a camping survival-esque playthrough or character, I really like iNeed because it makes your character need food, rest, sleep. I just think all that's great. Winter Sun is another fun one. There are some deities in Winter Sun that are nature oriented. When I do my Winter Sun video, I will get into that as well. Alright, next on the list is called the Shadow Mage, and the first spell on that list is called Reveal Secrets. Now the Shadow Mage is for your stealth/assassin type, but it is built for a mage character, right? So it's a mage character, you can use stealth. Oh wow, it's already procced. Alright, so Reveal Secrets. As you can see, we've got many things glowing. These are all containers, right? Any container that you can interact with will start glowing while you're under the effect of this spell. Now this glowing will also affect doors and keys. So whenever you're dealing with secret passageways, or you're stuck in a dungeon, or you just want to loot real quick and move on, this is a great spell that you can use just to speed up the process. Next, I'll show you the more combat-oriented spells. Like I said, this is an assassin-type character. So for that, we have a lovely little spell called Pull Through Shadows. And then we're going to combine that with Draining Shroud. So the idea of this stealth mage, I'll show you more in a full playthrough where I can go over all 15 of the Shadow Mage spells. But one of these guys' key perks is assassination types, right? And what better way to assassinate than to teleport the target to you from up to 150 feet away? So it kind of inverts the idea of the thief, right, that has to sneak up real close. Instead, you're picking off these guys, and as you can see, when you change their direction, it doesn't trigger combat, which might be a slight glitch, in my opinion, because if you were teleported against your will, most people would not take that well. Now, Draining Shroud is an area of effect spell, so it's like a cloak spell. You get in close, and it drains. Let me check. It absorbs health and magicka for up to 60 seconds. But as you can see, you do have to get pretty close, like 15-20 feet, for this thing to do its work. And you know what, we might as well clear out this camp. The Shadow Mage has other spells that I will get to in another video. Yep, we're still draining. Now remember, this is a drain spell, which means I'm absorbing their health and their magicka and giving it to myself. So not only is it offensive, but in my opinion, it's one of the reasons why I'm always drawn to the vampire, just because they have the lifesteal spells, right? I don't know why this horse is immune. Maybe I can just force him into combat real quick. I thought I had Unrelenting Force favorited. I did not. Now I do. Alright, let's, no survivors, right? No one to show off my secrets. Wow, horses have a lot of health. This thing drains like 60 per second, and the horse lasted longer than the fighter did. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, so when you get into the other Shadow Mage spells, they have to do with maximizing damage very quickly. Right, so one of them will be like an attack spell that consumes 50% of your magicka, but it all goes into damage. So I will show that in an additional video coming up when I do a deeper dive into the Shadow Mage spells. I guess it's going to be easier just to reload for the next one, rather than try to climb awkwardly up the hill. Alright, so for those of you that have been watching my other presentations, you may have seen me using Eldritch Blast and Conjure Ravagore. These are from the TRIUMVIRATE spell pack. Particularly, this is for the Warlock. Now, the Warlock is built on stealing spells, capturing souls, and then exchanging them for Daedric support. So what that looks like is you kill with your Eldritch Blast spell. Oh yes, very nice. Very climactic death. Now, as you can see, my hands are glowing red. If you're in first-person view, it's very obvious. This means that I have a soul. It is charged. I'll only have it for 30 seconds, so you got to cast it pretty quick. Now, upper left corner, Spirit offered 13% power. So, depending on the power of what you kill, the beast that you conjure has a certain percent bonus. I've seen that get over 1,000% if you killed a dragon. And that percent goes to damage and health. Now, also, in the Ravagore's case, I can summon him without a soul. So if I do that right now, I summon him without a soul. This is just your regular Ravagore. He's 13% weaker, and he does not come with a life drain. Let me just double check here. He has a vampiric cloak. So if I kill something and then summon him, the Ravagore comes out with a vampiric cloak on top of his melee damage. And we are going to finish off. There we go. Alright, yeah. Alright, I want to see this guy in combat. Oh, this thing just looks creepy. Why are we not fighting? This is so weird. This is new. I have not seen this. But there we go. Okay. Alright, go forth, my Ravagore. Stomp, stomp. Oh, that thing, it creeps me out. It's like someone skinned an elk, gave it 20 pounds worth of testosterone, and then just turned it loose. And it growls like a freaking carnivore. And it does a crap ton of damage. This is one of my favorites, but one word of warning, he does not fit too well through really tight spaces. So I will warn you that if you're using him through a narrow hallway, you may have to recast him when you get into the next room, just because he's so big. But the antlers are what do it. Look how wide that rack is. Jeez, that guy could just bench press an SUV. And he has this growl. Let me see if I can get close enough. Yeah, just, ugh. Yeah, if you're in a Daedric dungeon and you've got this thing growling behind you, ooh, it creeps me the heck out. Plus, the thing has no skin. It looks like it's been freshly skinned and then came back from the dead to come after the hunters that skinned it. Like, holy crap. He also doesn't like getting shot with my Eldritch Blast, but I have yet to see him turn hostile. So, thankfully for that, because that would suck with a capital S. Alright, lastly, for the... Oh, geez, we're just going to have to reload to show you this next one. Alright, so we're still in the Warlock spell pack, and this spell is called Iron Maiden. I believe this is an area of effect spell. I accidentally showed it in a previous, I think it was my Apocalypse videos, where I accidentally showed this off. Let me just grab my... Oh, man, I didn't save when I set this thing. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to need Unrelenting Force to trigger combat. And come to daddy! Alright, we going? There we go. Okay, so all of them have been debuffed. Really? We're not going to fight? Okay, we're definitely going to fight. It's going to happen. And the nice thing is, once this spell is cast, I don't need... Oh, come on. Where's my Daedric weapons when you need it? Alright, I'm going to have to skip this section real quick. Okay, through the powers of the command line, I have an ebony mace. Would someone please fight me? What the heck? What? Okay, thank you. Okay, now we can... Alright, I got it. Watch their health. Notice how they're taking damage? That damage isn't from me. It's because the debuff inflicts, I believe it's 25 damage whenever they make an attack. It doesn't have to hit, but whenever they make an attack, they take damage. Which obviously is super effective against melee types and is not worth jack crap against ranged archers. But I guess that is why you get Eldritch Blast to begin with. Goodbye. Out of my... Okay. Eldritch Blast also has... It has a limited range. I think it's maybe 100 feet. Which is a nice balance, I think, from some of the other destruction spells that just can snipe from all the way across the place. Particularly since you need this spell in order to capture souls. I like that it has a limited range because it kind of makes it a little more circumstantial, a little more balanced. Can someone please hold still and die? Thank you. Alright. Okay, so as you can see, Warlock Spells are fantastic. You've got a curse to inflict damage when they take an attack action. They don't even have to hit you. Eldritch Blast to mark souls once they are killed so that your conjurations, like conjuring the Ravagore, are just that much better. This time we're going to... Okay, I'm going to try and do this a little better. So first we're going to switch back to the original save. Alright, so the next one I'm going to show off is called the Cleric. Again, there are 15 Cleric spells, and this one will definitely need a melee weapon, so give me just a sec to bring that back, and then we'll resave to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Okay, I think we're good this time. Alright, so for the Cleric, the first spell I'm going to show you actually isn't combat related, but is one of my favorites. This is called Spirit Guardian, and I have no problem showing you this off in the middle of town. Alright, Spirit Guardian. Looks like your regular conjured compadre, right? Except for a couple little differences. Number one, it's a follower. It's a frickin' follower, and he can carry your gear. Also, when he dies, your gear is automatically transferred back to you. You do not lose it. So you can equip him with armor and weapons and what have you. And also, my personal favorite, if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, because I have a lot of active spells and buffs and enchantments, you'll see that this guy lasts 14 hours of game time. This is a follower that can accompany you for hours and hours of gameplay, and you don't have to worry about side quests, and you can, you know, recast him somewhere else if he won't get out of your way, and so on and so forth. Just fantastic. One of my favorites. Also, if you're playing a Cleric character, it just feels right. You have this angel backing you up, which I think is a fantastic approach to the Cleric build. Alright, next we're going to do Holy Shock. And for that we're also going to need the Ebony Mace. Alright, I don't usually do melee characters, so hopefully this doesn't end horribly. Alright, so Holy Shock. Now pay attention, this is what my regular hit does. Regular hit, that's like what, 1/5? Yeah, it takes 4 hits to kill a Stormcloak regular. And then, I guess we're taking advantage of this little thing. Power attacks, once you cast Holy Shock, your power attacks deal an extra 60 damage, shock, and stun damage. So this is particularly awesome for fighting undead and vampires, because it does shock damage and holy damage on top of everything else. So particularly good against vampires, because they're always hitting you. A, they're undead, so stun damage for the win. And then shock to take care of, well, magicka. Now you have to make sure it's your power attacks. It's your power attacks that are enchanted, so you gotta aim carefully. Because your regular hits will not get the extra shock or holy damage. Which is where I lack, because I really like spell. There we go. See, you saw how much health that one hit took. That was all courtesy of the Holy Shock buff. And I believe that's just for you. Yeah, that's just for you. It's not for your allies. Next. Okay, yeah. So next, definitely this is something we're going to have to reload. Because this is another one where you want to be fighting a lot of opponents at the same time. I don't know why these guys are glitching a little bit and becoming super friendly. I can't remember. I think in this playthrough I'm actually fighting for the Stormcloaks. So that might be why they think I'm their friend. Oh, if only they knew, right? Okay, so we're going to have an unbuffed Ebony Mace just to tick them off. And then we're going to bring out that Aura of Thorns. Okay, it's a high-level spell, so it takes a sec to... Oh, you have to... Oh, geez. Okay, so with the Cleric spells, a lot of them, they require concentration to maintain. So, oh, geez, come on. That must have been a crit. All right, here we go. All right, bring it on. All right, watch his health. Now, there we go. Okay. So this is called Aura of Thorns. If they hurt me, they take a lot of damage. When you release it, you heal. So this is concentration to maintain. Oh, jeez. Oh, geez. Okay, so usually this would heal you, except for the fact that my character is a lich. Liches do not benefit from regular healing spells, so just let me stock up a little bit here. Nom, 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 nom. Let me just heal up. I know this isn't what I was trying to demonstrate at first, but now they're all killing me, so yeah. This is one of the downsides of having a fully amped out character. I did not know liches couldn't benefit from regular magic, or regular healing, so that was complicated. Anyway, alright, so that's Aura of Thorns. The one downside to these auras is they are concentration based, so you gotta keep concentrating. As you can see, it gradually eats up your magicka. Once you are injured, you release it, and that gives you your healing. So a lot of the Cleric spells are like that, where you concentrate to maintain an effect, and when you release it, you might get invulnerability, you might get some quick splash damage, lots of different little perks you can get from them. And my character is not one-handed, so yeah, he's not going to kill very quickly with that. Yeah, if he goes one-handed, he does it in the giant werewolf body and calls it good. So as for the Cleric playthrough, let me see, I think I forgot, oh yeah, for the last couple I forgot to go over some related mods. But for the Cleric playthrough, I highly recommend, obviously there are some Apocalypse spells that are great anti-undead spells and buffs, but what I really like for a Cleric playthrough is Winter Sun Faiths, because you can pick some Daedra that are specifically for destroying or protecting you against undead, which really fits the Cleric playthrough, in my opinion, if you're going about slaughtering undead, as most clerics do. Alright, let's see. So that was the Druid spell archetype, the Shadow Mage, the Warlock, and the Cleric. So last is the Shaman. If you've played World of Warcraft, this will probably ring some bells for you. Seem familiar. Okay, so let's start with Fisher and Spirit Storm, which I believe is a single target concentration spell. Alright, so first off, we're going to have to tick some people off. Alright, so Shaman, you channel the spirits of nature to fight for you. Case in point, you launch, like, what is that, 30 feet? A 30-foot fissure that knocks opponents into the air and blocks travel. Like, I can't get through this. Right? So this is a great crowd control spell. If there's too many guys for you to deal with, you can just lock them off or block that entrance with a pile of rocks and then focus on more pressing issues. One thing to remember when aiming, notice how I'm only getting one boulder at a time right now. If you aim too far down, it gives you one boulder, right? But if you, I gotta get clear here, if you aim more up in the air, that will give you your long target. So you can kind of combine how many boulders are created depending on how far out you raise your cursor, right? So if you aim right in front, if you want to just seal a door, boom, you can do one. And there you go. Whereas, as you can see, if you want to cut off like 100 feet of hallway, you can totally do that too. So that is the Fisher spell. It knocks them into the air and it also blocks their path. Then we have Spirit Storm, drains 60 points of magicka and stamina. When they run out of magicka and stamina, then you drain their health. Bloop. As you can see, it did not take long to get through his stamina and his magicka. Stormcloak soldiers don't have a lot in either of that direction. And it looks like I'm actually benefiting from the lifesteal effects. Oh, maybe not. I guess I'm just killing stuff really quickly, which I'm perfectly fine with. Alright, so that does drain health. It drains magicka and stamina at first, so that obviously is useful for keeping your spells and your power attacks going. And then it also drains their health once they run out of stamina and magicka. And obviously once you're getting magicka back, you're good. At that point, all of your spells come back. So that was the, those are your, I don't know if I want to say basic, but they're less apocalyptic. So for the last spell I want to show you guys, apocalyptic is the word for this. Alright, this is the Create Earth Totem. I remember in World of Warcraft, I never got into Shamans because I usually moved around a lot, and because totems were stationary, I just never... You know, if I can summon a Ravagore that will chase bad guys, why would I create a totem that just stays in one place, you know? And this is why you still might want to look into using a totem. If I can tick these guys off enough, I don't want them to die, I just want them to be mad. Come on! Seriously? Alright, where's that commander? The one that can't die. He's the one we'll wail on. You have been chosen! Fight me! Come on! Alright, there we go. Okay, good, good. Yeah, you need to be in combat for this to proc. Alright, here we have our totem. Once every 7 seconds, watch all these red dots. Come on. There we go. Once every 7 seconds for, I believe, a minute? Yeah, for a full minute. Every 7 seconds, it will do a massive tectonic shock wave that does 120 damage to everything in range. At least all of your enemies. Yeah, I think your allies will be fine. But as you can see, boom. Now, if you've seen my Apocalypse video, particularly one for Alteration, there's a lot of earth-based magic as well, like burying your opponents in the earth, or staggering them, or impaling them on spikes when they get staggered. As you can see, this has a stagger involved, so combining this with some Apocalypse Alteration spells could be really powerful and a lot of fun. And let's go ahead and just reload real quick so I can finish up without dancing around like a chicken trying to get shot at a carnival. Alright, let's get up somewhere high. We can get a nice view. I guess this will... No, this might work. Alright, so that is my 15 most favoritist spells from the Triumvirate spell pack. Once again, I'm going to be doing some more videos that will focus on each one. Each of those spell types has 15... Each mage type has 15 spells, so I'll be doing those in a separate playthrough. Trying to get on top here for a good view. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, so if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like, subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite spell that you saw so far? I'm particularly partial to the Warlock, because the Ravagore is a giant rabid deer with giant horns. Yep, it's awesome. And the Druid is fun too. But what is some of the stuff that you guys enjoyed? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And take care. I'll talk to you later.